Hello everyone and welcome to today's interview with Maria, Managing Self-Harming Behaviour. A very warm welcome to you, Maria.
Hi, thank you very much. Very nice to be here.
Oh, we're really glad to have you, and a very warm welcome to everyone who's joining us online, and many of you in the chat room already, which is great. So please feel free to use the chat room to offer Maria any questions or comments you've got about the interview, and we're hoping it's going to be really interactive today. Yeah. So maybe to get us started, Maria, can I ask you for a sense of where you are geographically?
I am in Edinburgh just now, in Scotland. Nice weather today for a change.
So you're getting some sunshine there, and it's
Yes.
yeah. So actually, we're not that far away from you. I'm located geographically, so yeah, that's nice. And we're making contact with people all over the world today, so it's nice to get a sense of where you are located. Maybe to start the interview off, Maria, could I ask you a little bit about your professional journey?
Sure. I trained as a psychologist and psychotherapist in Spain in very long ago.
Okay.
Then I came to Scotland for 2 weeks holidays, and I have been here 14 years.
Okay.
With the weather. And I have worked for Penumbra for about 8-9 years in several departments. I developed the Edinburgh Self-Harm project, and also I worked as a Penumbra Self-Harm Services Coordinator across Scotland. And in 2011, in last year, I got made redundant. So I decided to start my own business, and I set up HarmLESS Psychotherapy, which is a non-for-profit organization. So what I do is to offer training on self-harm and how to manage self-harming behavior, and also offer one-to-one support to people, among other things.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that sounds really interesting. Amazing the appeal that Scotland can have after 2 weeks. You've now been here for all this time.
I know.
Yeah. Despite the rainy weather and the cold weather we can have here. Yeah.
I think it was the weather that did it for me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I came from Malaga, you see, far too sunny in Malaga.
So you're getting something a little bit more moderate over here, I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, the last year or so has been a really exciting time for you, Maria, in terms of setting up your own business, offering the training that you are offering just now, and the one-to-one support.
Yes, I'm also involved in doing some work in the community and offering awareness raising sessions for people, for organizations. So, and I'm also working with parents in some schools. Again, offering support and awareness raising. That's a bit what I do.
Yeah. So in all those activities, I can kind of get the sense that, I mean, this is professional work for you, but it's something that you're really passionate about as a person.
Yes, definitely. When I trained in Spain, I didn't come across self-harm. I came across when I was working in Penumbra in 2003. And I was something that really, really fascinated me. And I have been really passionate about raising awareness about it and the difference between self-harm and suicide.
Yeah. Yeah. So it sounds like it's something that's really caught your attention and has become a real passionate work for you. And we'll go on to talk about your training, but Sandra's just put your website in the chat room, HarmLESSPsychotherapy.com.
Yep.
And the trainings that you're offering are listed there. People can go and read about them, see what dates they're on, and yeah. And also, and this feels like a really important part of maybe some people's experience of tonight, or if they're watching the recording or come along to your website, that it's such an emotive topic, and that you have on your website crisis lines that people can kind of make contact with if that's suitable for them.
Yeah. Also, I will be available after the interview if people want to ask any question or any more advice or something.
Yeah, so we really appreciate that, Maria. You're going to hang around in the chat room for a little bit, so that would be lovely. Thank you. Okay, so I mean, you've agreed to do the interview to tell us all about your training and the kind of different facets of that. So we're really interested in that. Could you tell us a little bit about the kind of things that you cover in your training program? What would people expect to learn?
We cover what is self-harm, because definitions of self-harm vary. So for me, self-harm is something really broad that includes eating disorders, alcohol abuse, things that are not good for us. And my mission statement is to reduce the need for people to resort to harming behaviors to cope with everyday life. You know, when you have a glass of wine on a Friday afternoon, that's absolutely fine. But if you need 3 bottles of wine on a Friday afternoon to cope, you know, maybe there is something that needs to be addressed. So I work with self-harm on the wider spectrum. We also cover safe self-harm. So there is a lot of controversy about whether harm reduction is the way forward or what is the way forward. We know through experience that, you know, people need time and they might continue self-harming through the recovery process. So it's about how to manage that. And we also cover the actual managing the behavior. How do you help people to manage their behavior and to reduce it and eventually to stop? A really key part of it is my co-facilitator, who is the person with lived experience of self-harm. So she comes along and she does a slot where people can ask any questions that they have about self-harm.
I mean, that sounds really interesting and such. So important, I guess, for people experiencing your training to also have someone there who has had an experience of self-harm in their life and is really up for talking about that and taking questions about their experience too.
I think it's very different from me. I have the professional and the academic background, but to have somebody who's got the lived experience, I think is really valuable, and to have the 3 components together, I think that make our training very, very successful and very worthwhile.
Yeah, and I guess when we talked about it before, I remember you saying to me that it can be quite an emotional experience for people to come in contact both with your professional and psychotherapy experience and someone's real life experience as well. It can be very powerful.
Self-harm is one of those things where people have a lot of preconceptions, and you know, like, nothing wrong with it. You just have preconceptions about a lot of things, and this is one of them. And I think that to see somebody who is pretty much quite normal, in the sense of normal,
okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like what is normal, but yeah.
You know, somebody who is functional, who is out there and being honest and open about her experience, I think that is really, really added value, and people feel very humbled by that, because if somebody is you know, brave enough to tell their story, I think that is very, very emotional. And you know, most people have been touched by somebody who self-harmed or somebody who has died through suicide. So it's something that is still a very taboo topic in Scotland, you know, in the Western society actually. But it's quite prevalent issue.
Well, Scotland has such high levels of suicide, yeah, but it is a taboo, and it's an important one to break, I guess. Yeah.
Absolutely.
No wonder you're so passionate about this, Maria. Yeah.
I worked very closely with Choose Life, which is the national strategy to prevent suicide in Scotland. And I think that they have done a really, really good job about raising awareness about suicide. But I still think suicide and self-harm are different things. And there are lots of people who will self-harm and not be at risk of suicide ever.
So that's a really important distinction to make, I guess. That if we meet someone who's self-harming, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're suicidal.
Exactly. That's key. Because a lot of people, like the fear of saying the wrong thing